You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, Joe. We're just 6 hands into season number 2, and the loose cannon is already looking quite comfortable sitting with the pros.
Well, Scotty's got to be a lot more comfortable than you should be, replacing a legend like Chris Rose. As for Gonzo, his name's Gonzalez. I'm liking this guy so far. He's already straddled within the first 5 hands without being prompted. Then he defended it with 8-4 off. Looks like we might finally have a cannon who's comfortable dusting off someone else's money, and that's all right by me.
Wait, are you saying cannon his name, or are you saying cannon as in loose cannon?
You know, Chris Rose wouldn't even have had to ask that question.
It's going to be a long season.
Welcome to the big game.
I think that's history right there. A cannon on his own, day one,
just
straddling it up.
And not even
and crushes
never seen
too,
before
and
on
crushes.
television. And just owns Viffer.
Yeah.
Made Viffer look stupid that part.
No, I didn't look
Well, that's
stupid.
not that hard.
No, he don't. I mean, I could look stupid just by myself. I don't need no help.
Viffer got the whole sentence out that time, but there was a double negative in there.
Action starts on Negreanu. Pocket pair of 3s.
Daniel's been pretty quiet so far with the 3 most aggressive players to his left.
Good enough to raise to 1,200. Action folds around to Viffer. He kicks it in. Back on the cannon.
Cannon is out of position.
With king, queen of spades. He's going to call. Sura folds and will be 2 to the flop.
Heads up in the hand with Negreanu. This is
Do it.
Every home game player's dream. 10-4-6 rainbow. Negreanu's pair still best. The cannon checks.
Probably not too scary a board for Daniel.
He bets 2,500.
It's a 3/4 pot bet, which is a pretty big bet for Daniel, actually.
And the cannon's going to call.
This is a pretty loosey-goosey float from Cannon the Cannon.
8 of clubs on the turn. Cannon thinking, now reaching for chips.
Looks like he's going to come out firing. This is going to look pretty weird to Daniel.
Interesting.
The cannon bets 7,000.
This move can sometimes be easily read as a bluff, but even if it is, the Cannon could be bluffing with a better hand than Daniel's.
Daniel folds and the cannon gets away with a bluff.
Just pounding us.
Pounding. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
No longer fun. It's no longer fun when the bunny's got the gun.
who you calling a rabbit? Who you calling a rabbit?
The loose cannon shows he's got a little hop to his game. See if he can keep it up after this.
Because of my superb bankroll that I've been able to build over the last 10 years, I think that's very important, and I think that's why I'm very dangerous. Let them come after me, you know, I'm not afraid. I'm there, I'm committed, I've got the heart and commitment to the game, and I think the most they love me is because I'm qualified.
I wonder if Tony G knows the difference between the words qualified and certifiable.
Or straight and straight jacket. You can find even more behind-the-scenes moments on the website as we continue with hand number 13. Action's going to start on Bobby Sura. Ace-3 suited. He folds.
Fold is tighter than the rims at Madison Square Garden.
Another small pocket pair for Daniel. Couple of 4s. He raises to 1,200. Seiver, 10-7 suited.
Daniel's favorite hand, unsuited.
Now Scott's favorite hand. He re-raises to 4,000.
Scott Seiver waited a whole dozen hands before messing with Daniel.
Tony G folding his button. Action on Viffer, Queen-10 of hearts.
It's a decent hand, but it's tough to play out of position to a raise and a re-raise.
He agrees and kicks it in, as does the cannon. Now it's decision time for Daniel.
Daniel checking out his implied odds.
Can't see if he has any big chips. Any 25s? No.
Scott's only bought in for 100, so that's all he's got. Disguising his hand by having a complete lack of posture.
And Daniel makes the call.
Oh, there it is. There's the move.
2 of the best to the flop. 8, king, queen, 2 spades, and Seiver's picked up a flush draw.
Pretty ugly flop for Daniel's hand.
And he checks it.
Scott's got a couple of backdoor straight draws to go with his flush draw. It would be a perfect time to keep the pressure on.
Seiver disagrees. He checks. Turn makes Seiver's flush.
By checking, Scott has disguised his hand very well. And for Daniel, it's another overcard, and he's got no spade.
Negreanu checks.
Scott probably should bet now to protect his hand and get a little value while he can.
Seiver bets 7,300. Good enough. And Seiver wins a pot worth $16,500.
It's the Scott Seiver show.
Yeah, down the most Seiver show.
I'd rather watch the Mike Seiver show. Who doesn't love growing pains?
Despite the win, he's still in an early hole, down more than $12,000.
This 26-year-old is originally from Cold Spring Harbor, New York, and has cashed 12 times at the World Series of Poker, a bracelet in '08. All told, he's amassed more than $2.28 million in live tourney winnings. And for fun, sometimes he likes to put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, like saying king-queen instead of king-queen.
So, Mr. Negreanu, can you tell us any good stories
Yes.
of your recent adventures?
What?
I mean, you've been traveling in the world.
Don't even. All I've been feeling lately is just playing online. I don't even.
Well, we could tell by the
Playing
way.
a lot online?
Yeah.
Can you, like, let us know when so we can...
Yeah.
When you're playing
I
offline?
always tweet
Do you
it.
have updates?
Yeah, I tweeted. You never just jump in, Scott.
Man, I have to
Why?
follow this Twitter
Oh, you'd
account.
have me on- yeah.
I have to follow this Twitter account. I didn't know there was a Twitter account.
Daniel's had recent matches with great players and fared pretty well for the most part.
What's the biggest pot you've ever won, everybody? It's in one hand.
Seiver, king 10, raises to 1,500.
Maybe like 600 or 700, something like that.
1,000.
Yeah. No, not dollars.
Biggest
600 million.
600 Monday. Hey, I don't know. Y'all play some big games, man. You know. How much?
15.
Action on the cannon, king jack off.
1 yellow and 1 white.
My guess is the biggest part.
1 yellow, 1 white.
1 yellow, 1 white.
I can do that.
Much better.
Cannon calls, and Sura folds.
Forget about this. Ask him the biggest pot he's ever lost. All right, you'll get a quick answer on that one.
That's $80.
Everybody remembers the biggest one they lost.
Yeah.
Flop is ace, king, deuce.
Cannon called out of position, but he's got Seiver dominated. Both have got middle pair.
He's checked it, and Seiver checks behind.
Seiver's checking for pot control.
Ace of clubs on the turn, pairs the board. Cannon still ahead,
2 yellows, 2 whites.
makes it 3,000.
Scott was the last aggressor, but Gonzo now betting for value.
I mean, makes a good point. Seems fair.
And Seiver calls.
Yellows, 2 whites it is. I wonder how many silvers it's going to be this bet, though.
Silvers are 5K chips.
6 of hearts on the river, changes nothing.
Well, I'm expecting, my guess is 1 silver, 3 yellows.
That would be 8K and a pretty decent value bet. Even though the board is scary, Scott's taking a pretty passive line.
And Gonzo's counting out some yellows instead. 8,000.
It was 1 silver and 3 yellows. Just spited me and did it differently.
Didn't even realize it.
Cannon's metagaming Scott Seiver. Oh, I do not want to be in the business end of the Scott Seiver stare down. Well, Scott's likely considering folding or calling. A raise is pretty much out of the question. But he's likely to think if the Cannon doesn't have an ace, he's good.
I'll let you add a Seiver wing to the house.
Scott calls.
Got a king.
Gonzo's got the better king.
I love it.
Just a king. Everyone's making you show your hand first.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah,
You didn't think it was good, I know.
Just a king. Just like a bad king.
yeah, just the king. Like, oh, okay.
So the Cannon collects, let's see, 5 silvers and a yellow, right, Joe?
Or 26 yellows.
This might be one of those tables where the loose cannon's the best player.
Plenty of time to find out. More big game on the way.
Welcome back. Do you think you can beat this game? For a chance to be a loose cannon and play on the big game, log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. Now let's get back to the action.
Remember, all season long, you can view bonus hands, extra stats, and scandalous footage deemed too hot for TV on the website.
Scandalous footage. Is it SFW?
Yes, Joe, it is safe for work.
As long as you're okay with time stealing.
Action is on Scott Seiver. Queen 7 offsuit. He folds. Ace Jack of hearts for Tony G.
Nope. Lost the most.
He raises, of course, to 1,500. Viffer makes the call. Cannon on the button. Folds. Sura's out. And Daniel's out. Viffer and Tony G will go heads up to the flop.
Viffer's made the call with Jack 7 de-ominated.
You're not kidding. He's really de-ominated now. 7 Jack Ace. Both players have made 2 pair. Tony G with top 2.
Tony G cold decks someone again with a bigger 2 pair. Wonder if you can call that an upper decker.
He bets 3,000 and Viffer quickly calls.
Viffer just calls knowing Tony will keep firing with worse.
King of spades on the turn.
Tony G still way out in front.
Bets 8,000.
If Viffer were thinking of raising the turn, he may be changing his mind now. Draws came in, more were created, and a bigger two pair is even more likely now.
Viffer calls. We're going to see a river card.
Love the belabored best hand side from Tony.
Deuce of diamonds on the river. And he bombs it. 30,000 from Tony G.
Classic Tony G river value over bet. More often than not, when Tony's bombed the river on the big game, he's had the winner. Still, I don't know if I could really blame Viffer for calling.
Want to trade a card?
This ain't a Yankee swap. That's how I ended up with my third Snuggie.
After call, probably.
Oh, God. If I called you, just promise not to give me the speech and turn the hand over.
Can't promise anything.
And Viffer calls. He's not going to like the news.
Just ace jack.
Everyone's doing that. Just aces up.
How does he
Ace
not?
king, you
how does he not
win.
just say
3 7s.
Just an ace.
There's a lot of ways I
Just a
can lose the
jack.
pot.
2 pair. What about like 2 pair?
Yeah.
7, ace 7. You qualified? At least like.
Yeah, this is a slow roll table so far.
You wanted me to give him a speech. He wanted it. He asked for it.
I'm pretty sure he has to hold the speech.
So with that hand, Viffer's going to need a motivational speech from the cannon as he finds himself in the basement down more than 55,000 already. Tony G talked his way into a healthy profit while the loose cannon is off to a nice start as well, up almost 23K.
Remember, Gonzalez, the loose cannon keeps all profits above the 100 grand he was staked. However, this season, the loose cannon does not have an option to come back to try to increase his stack.
That's right, the cannon is one and done in Season 2. Action on Viffer. Folds.
Why don't I ever raise people out of the pot? I always want them to be part of the show.
Every single hand.
Cannon limps over to Daniel.
Not just an 9-5.
Like that ace jack, I didn't just like,
Folds.
Believe me, if I had ace jack, I would have just called. If I had ace jack, I would have just called.
Seiver.
But
Yeah,
my
ace
hand was
queen.
far worse, so I had to raise.
Completes.
All right.
Jack 4.
2 friends.
Tony G checks his option.
I really don't love the limp out of the loose cannon. Even if he's afraid of having to call a re-raise, it's not so bad with a hand like Jack 10 suited.
8-5-3 on the flop. No one connects. Tony's king still best, and it checks around. 10 of hearts on the turn, and the cannon makes a pair.
Top pair.
I have to bet this one.
Seiver checks. Tony has to bet 1,500.
There's a qualifier here.
1,500, right?
Cannon is qualified.
And he calls. Seiver's out, and they'll be heads up to the river.
You got the best hand so far.
Appreciate it.
Very confident.
Deuce of hearts on the river. Hold'em card.
That didn't change much.
Tony checks.
No point to bet if you got it, because if you bet, then I'll think I've got the best hand. Just check it down.
Yeah, I gotta get some value, man.
Yeah.
He knows about value.
This is.
He knows the return value. Oh, we're dead.
You want to swap one card?
Swap one card. Swap one.
I'll give him my big one. He can choose which one.
Sure.
Sure.
Man, call,
No,
man.
you
What
said
you gonna
you
do?
got to give me one card. Come on, hand one card over.
I'm going to be his lawyer here and say that
Finally, someone's sticking up for the guy. Bizarre poker peer pressure.
It's like, it's charity. I'm serious. Like, that's what I'm thinking about calling with.
Tony's exposed his hand.
Can I win? Look, one chip's in there.
You can't call me with King High.
You want to get value, I believe you. I don't think you would
Appreciate
like.
it. Jeez Louise.
I nearly called.
Gonzo wins.
What I won? Just showing you.
You want to check?
Yeah,
What,
just the left one.
Which one?
Anyone. Just open one card.
This one?
It'll tell me everything.
This one?
Yeah.
you want to flip it?
Flip it, flip
Go
it.
ahead.
You can flip it.
Shows a jack.
Oh my God. That is insane.
Guys, he's got 2 cards.
Loose cannon's beating Tony G at his own game.
I think I'm outclassed at this table.
Come on, guys. You know I had it.
Viffer, can we start an easier game? Can we start a must move?
Not making moves on you, gentlemen. Not yet, anyway.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where Viffer was just served an unpleasant slice of the big game by Tony G. After ending up on the short end of things, Viffer explained his thought process as we once again take you behind the poker face.
Early in the session, a hand came up with me and Tony G where he raised in front of me and I called with the Jack 7 of diamonds. The flop comes the Ace Jack 7 and I'm like, yes. But there's a flush draw there. Tony bets out and I just called because I figure I'm trapping him and he might think I have a flush.